Your parents met in a local cigar factory. Before they had you and your sister, what were their backgrounds?
My mom is of Spanish descent. My dad's Sicilian. I think in our families, they were born in the United States. Most of their brothers and sisters, mother, dad, were born in either Spain. And for that reason, on my bucket list, I'd like to visit Spain and Sicily, and haven't had a chance to do it yet.
You grew up in Tampa. Spanish was the language spoken first at your house because it was that of your mom's and grandma. What do you recall from the apartment your family lived in above the service station growing up?
When I was 3 or 4 years old, we moved into a housing project. It was a little small. And from there, we moved into this above a service station on Columbus Drive in 12th Street, Ybor City. There was a service fire station right across the street, which as a kid, every time the bell started blowing and the siren started, thought that was a big adventure.
Your dad, when you got to middle school, he became a dairy delivery man. How did that change the family's financial situation?
And not a lot. My dad had worked at Wholesome Bakery as a baker. Before that, he used to drive the old ice truck. He was always doing physically demanding labor. I remember when he went to work for Florida Dairy. It was a family-owned dairy. Sunday was his day off. I'm not handy at all, and other dads taught their sons how to fix this and that. I never begrudged it because my dad worked so hard on Sunday, man. He just like getting ready for the next 6 days. The thing I remember the most, besides how hard he worked and never complained, just did it, was that the family that owned the dairy, when my father passed, told me that he was the most honest employee he had ever had.
What do you think he taught you?
Mostly I remember him just really working hard. But it's correct. When I was 10, we found a 2-bedroom home in West Tampa. A block away was a playground, McFarland Park. That meant during the summer, every day, all the guys in the neighborhood, we got there at 9 and we stayed till 5 playing pickup games.
And when you ran out of baseballs, sometimes you would steal the balls from...
We were just borrowing them. We were going to return them. Except by the time we returned them, they threw them away, and then we got them.
There you go.
But the security guard he'd come running after us, and he'd keep yelling. He said, "I know your parents. I'm going to tell your parents you can't get away with this." And we'd run away and hide from him and then watch the game. And, he never followed up.
The last question about your dad, there's a story I think you recall one day being on the delivery truck with him, where you two have a heart-to-heart about your future and what he hopes you can achieve. What do you remember him saying?
I can remember that I knew how hard he worked, and we had what we needed. I offered, as I was going to high school, to spend time during the summer working, and he told me, he said, "Look, as long as you're serious about your studies and you're pursuing this baseball career, then, we're okay." I didn't have to work, but he made it clear that I wasn't getting a free pass. Could not neglect the studies and could not neglect, the opportunity I had. Because as it turned out, his brothers would always tell me that when he was growing up, he was a real good-looking catcher. And they always thought that he could be like Al Lopez, but his dad would never let him play. And he was going to make sure I had the opportunity. So the one thing that he agreed okay was in my 3 years in high school. I would go out Friday night, like most young kids. But Saturday morning, about 5 o'clock, he'd come by in his truck and he'd pick me up. And I'd do the rest of the route. I know he appreciated it, but it was a small price to pay for the opportunities that he and my mother, it's been told, at that place above the service station, there was an alley with rocks, and she would throw me balls, and I'm catching ground balls. So I used to have pretty good hands and got used to catching bad hops because I'd take the ball off the rocks, but she'd play catch with me by the hour. So Wonderful, wonderful mother and father.